Our YouTube staff enjoyed a nice holiday break, but we're glad to be back in action. The weekly ink will now be resuming as normal, and unlike the last behemoth of an episode, we're not going to go into extreme detail about all the events we missed in the last few weeks that we were gone. We will, however, discuss a handful of big ones that got ignored, because there were some pretty massive events. With that in mind, strap on in, sports fans, get settled down. My name is Saf, and welcome back to the Weekly Ink. Speaking of stuff that we missed, coming from us here at IPL, SAC Season 9 had its grand finale going out with one hell of a bang. Of the 12 teams that qualified, each of which getting a fantastic trailer done by the Elemental, by the way, the team expected to take it all and managed to get knocked out at third. Chocolate Milkshake got upset twice, once by Seed 7 in the cafeteria and once by Seed 3, the champions of SAC Season 9, Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. The grand final set between those two teams is some of the most exhilarating Splatoon ever played, so be sure to give it a watch if you haven't already. Congratulations to Triggerfish Zones for the win, and thanks again to the TOs for another great season. Just 1 week after SAC Season 9, we had Squids or Palestinian Kids 3, ran by TO Howler Moon in tandem with none other than the Pro Chara. There were 65 teams that came out this time around, and this event was fairly stacked, and perhaps the most fittingly of all is that none other than Pro Chara had their team Moonlight win and take the gold home. The event raised a total of $10,420.86, a phenomenal show of support from our community once again. Next weekend, there were two big events worth mention, In the Zones 39 and Chi-Shoals 30. As one of the tournaments in the Splatoon Land Championship Showdown, we'll discuss more about that later, don't worry. Chi-Shoals, however, ran another great event, which was won by Chi-Rack Crash Outs, a team of Ultra, Latios, Delta, and Echo. As for In the Zones, it was taken by Vanguard, a somewhat new top-level European team who's been making waves since their formation. We'll spare the specifics, but both were great events, so please support everyone involved. And that brings us up to the new year. Happy New Year, everybody. Dapple Productions ran the only weekly we're going to discuss for this segment in Paddling Pool 300. That's right, for 300 weeks. Dapple has ran the longest running weekly in Splatoon history. For the Big 300, the team went all out, running it as a charity event in support of the Trevor Project and raising over $1,000 for the cause. While tons of top-level talent pulled up, the event ended up being won by Obito equals NO2, a pickup of Pooh, Yu, Argo, and Obito, and Yeti. Shoutouts to Dapple for running such a consistently great event, and we can't wait for 300 more. Finally, for our old events, we just barely missed In the Zones 40 last week. As always, the event was stacked with top teams such as Vanguard, Hades, Candid, and Healthy Diet food groups, but the event overall was taken by Atomic Bomb 2, a pickup of Zenith, Atomic Yoshell, and Gray, and Sam. The real highlight of the event, however, was the second place team, TBH IDK, who went on a massive losers run after getting sent down into winners semifinals. One of their players, Pika, made a great video on the pickups run, so be sure to give that a watch if you haven't. Link is in the description. So let's actually talk about the week that we're on currently. As always, it's got to start off with the weeklies. Paddling Pool 302 was a little more relaxed than the last week we talked about. However, the 20 teams who showed up were no slouches nonetheless. After some close sets between the two in both winners finals and grands, the Cherry Wave managed to take it over Sleep Talk Metropolis, barely cutting out winners 3-2 and taking grands a little more comfortably with a 3-1. Later in the evening, SOS once again managed to bring in 60 teams to fight for the top. While tons of strong teams played, the event ended up coming down to two pickup teams. Babygooling, consisting of Mayak, Nex, Loose Goose, Para, Typhoon, and Tickle, and Sasu Fan Club, formed by JJ, Nick, Swag, and Henlo. Sasu Fan Club pretty comfortably took it in the end, sweeping through the bracket and beating Babby in 3-1 in grands. Finally, in the list of our weeklies, we have Prism Break, and Prism broke no new records but ran another solid event nonetheless. 17 teams pulled up for the Tuesday weekly, and while Jersey Shore Club put a pretty solid losers run to make it to grands, they were unable to defeat Pollo, who took the event pretty dominantly through the winner's side. Now, moving on from the weeklies, there were a ton of events the following weekend after that are worth talking about. with Low Ink, some drama, 2 massive lands, and also Squid Junction 85, probably the least exciting of the bunch in terms of players. Of the 8 teams who showed up, Holyoke pretty comfortably won the bracket. We'll spare you the details to keep this video a reasonable length, but another solid event from Dapple. Another event we'd like to discuss became the subject of some controversy with Fry Basket 16 Badge Palooza. For this event, the Shoal dug up every single badge they could get their hands on from all of their 127 different events they run every month, plus anyone else they could get to allow them access to their badges, and we're going to give all of them to the winner of this edition of the event. This sparked some debate in the community about the nature of Sendu badges and how they are given out, and after lagging everyone's web browser trying to scroll events on Sendu, they eventually removed the majority of them, cutting it down to just 4 badges. Beyond that, the event was a pretty standard Fry Basket, with the badges and prize money going to Uber, a pickup of Gray, Yu, Zero-Z, and Bran. Moving on from top-level chaos, let's talk about Low Ink. Low Ink January 2025 was absolutely massive, drawing in a total of 105 teams to try and compete for the illustrious brand, including some who tried to get in when they knew that they couldn't. Can we get a thank you for Kraken Mare in the comments? Anyways, of the teams who were allowed to play, tons of strong Low Ink contenders such as Celestial, Tidy Tidings, Disclaimer, The Whip Rays, Ink Bound, Tidal Disruptions, and more took their shot at the top. In the end, they fell to Ball Up, Top Squared, a team of Kuro, Adam, Moon, and Noff24. Beta Bracket went to Twister Time, who managed to get the upset over Fruit Punch after losing to them in Winners Finals. And Gamma was won by Evolution, cleanly through the winners. Thanks to everyone who played, and congratulations to our winners. Can't wait to see you next month. Before we get into our 2 final events of the week, we wanted to take a minute and talk about something massive that was announced in the time that we were off. The Splatoon 3 LAN Championship Showdown. The massive event is a competition for the winners of 8 LAN tournaments throughout the United States over the next few months. Sea Battle in Seattle, Washington, Booyah Bay in San Jose, Sunset Surge in Arizona, New Inkling in Boston, Massachusetts, H-Town Splashdown in Houston, Texas, The Big Dapple in New York City, Chi-Shoals in Chicago, Illinois, and Gatorland in Florida. The winners of these events will get to play in this major tournament for a chance at the throne as the LAN champion. So if you're interested in taking a shot, be sure to keep an eye on these events and see if you can attend. Link to all of these, as well as Splatoon Tourney, who is putting this together, are in the description, so please support our LAN community. Of those events listed, 2 of them ran events this weekend with Chi-Shoals 31 and Sea Battle 4. While neither of these events were the addition to qualify for the LAN Championship, both were once again fantastic events. Starting with Chi-Shoals, this time around the event had 8 teams participate, and when the dust was settled and finished, Melons ended up taking the W. A team of Widow Yoshi, Henry, Ren, and Whack. It's Cold Outside took second, and Amolga's Cartel and It's Dooley All Day tied for third. And for our final event of the week, and my favorite, of course, no bias here, Sea Battle 4 Holiday Storm got to have another amazing showing up for Seattle Splatoon. The event was dominated by Pico de Gallo, a pickup of Funky Eevee, Pepe, Shiny, and Nico, with Pepe and Shiny invading from down in Arizona to take the Northwest by storm. The team didn't drop a single game throughout the entire tournament, crushing it in pools and the final bracket for a lossless victory. While teams like Fish and Nomadicist tried their best to stop them, the Arizona Rampage simply could not be stopped. Which, by the way, did you guys know that Shiny Pikmin has won every single LAN on the West Coast? Pretty amazing. Congratulations, Shiny. And that just about wraps up this week's extra long edition of the Weekly Ink. Let us know what you thought down in the comments below. Be sure to check out all the events mentioned down in the description, and be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Same place next week. Thanks for watching.